Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite podcast, Stop the Internet Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly.
And I'm your co-host, Erin.
Today, we're talking about breakups and breakup-worthy situations.
Oh, God, that's stressful.
Yeah, I feel like we could vote to see if we would break up with a person in these situations.
I feel like it's so easy for us to sit on this couch and tell everyone they should break up with everyone, and that's what we normally do. Kelly usually says open and honest communication, and I usually say dump them. So
yeah.
Is that the advice we'll give today?
I am a proponent of dump his ass a lot of times, but I am trying to be open-minded and use my own life experience to try to understand that when you really, really like someone, it's a lot easier said than done to walk away. And actually, that leads us to our first story. You guys, we're so excited. I feel like we just have to skip the intro and get right to the first story because we have an update. It's not a new update. It's just an update that I completely missed from last week's episode.
Oh my God. I thought that we literally gave this a whole week to record and this update just popped up.
No, I think it's from 4 months ago. So I should have seen it.
Oh my God.
I should have seen it in the last episode, but I didn't. So we're gonna do it now.
Okay, I guess it's an update for us.
Okay, so it was about the work wife situation. Last week, we're not gonna re-say the whole story, but there was an OP who had a husband, and one of his colleagues at his work was referred to as his work wife, and she was extremely disrespectful towards this OP and was rude to her face. Her husband didn't stick up for her, and then the work wife's partner contacted OP and shared screenshots of the messages between the work wife and OP's husband. This story got a lot of feedback on YouTube, and everyone's responses were so interesting, and most people said that they also hate the term work wife and work husband because it's so weird and disrespectful and unnecessary. So I'm with everyone there. And one thing that a few people said was, if he was so unhappy, why is he still staying with this person? And I feel like that's because it's easier to stay in a relationship, even if you're unhappy, than it is to accept that you're truly not happy and end it, especially when you're married. So I feel like that's why he stayed with her.
Aww.
But we can read the update.
Okay.
Update. I don't like the relationship between my husband and his work wife, and neither does her partner.
Shocking.
Yeah, this is from 119 days ago, so I definitely should have seen this update in the last episode. I have talked to my husband. I told him that I have talked to the work wife's boyfriend and showed him the messages I was sent. My husband asked why her boyfriend was spying on his girlfriend, and I told him that it was because he didn't like the way that things went down on the trip. I told him how I, too, was very uncomfortable. He was very confused and told me that his work wife obviously was jealous and that I shouldn't care about her. I told him that she didn't bother as much as the fact that he was amused by her attempts to bring me down the entire time. So much, in fact, that her boyfriend was so uncomfortable that he went through her phone. I also asked him why he was letting her trash talk me in their texts. Again, he insisted that he just felt that she was petty and jealous and didn't want to stoop to her level. That is such an excuse.
So
He's backpedaling so hard right now. He said that I did the same when I ignored her rudeness, and he thought that was the classy thing to do. But he joined in on it. That's the thing.
He's so fake.
He's so fake. Ugh. Now he's trying to be like, no, you were classy about it, and that's what I do too. No. Ugh. I asked him why she was doing this. Was there anything between them? And to please tell me now before it got complicated. He said of course not, and if there was something from her, then it wasn't his problem because he loved me, and so on and so forth. I asked him about him loving her brain, and he said it was strictly about something work-related and offered to show me the conversation. I think in one of their messages, he told the work wife that he loved her brain.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that's not the weirdest thing. If that's the only example of weird shit going down.
He very well could just be saying, I like the way you think. Yeah. I love your brain.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that isn't a good... Yeah, I can let that slide.
So show us the conversation, husband. That's not the problem anyway.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I'll show you the whole thing. It's like... Well, that's the one that
I just
isn't even
won't show you the
problematic.
conversation where I invited her to the hotel.
The next day, I was still brooding, so he came to me, kissed me, and apologized and told me that I was right and that he was being stupid, but he never thought about it as disrespect, but some female jealousy that he thought was pitiful and beneath him. He promised to do better. I told him that if somebody was trashing him like this in front of me, no matter how petty their reasons were or how pathetic I thought they were, I would have hated them and never wanted them in my life. Unfortunately, I started crying then, and he told me that he was so sorry. Yesterday, the boyfriend called me again, and we talked. We had decided to talk after confronting our significant others. Their conversation was worse, and work wife admitted to her boyfriend that she had feelings for my husband, and she suspected that my husband had feelings for her too. They have kissed at the summer work party. I showed my husband the screenshot when he got home. He started to freak out, telling me that yes, she did kiss him, but he rebuffed her and told her that he wasn't interested. That was when she got nastier towards me. So you knew she had a thing for you? And he said yes. I asked him to show me his phone, and he had deleted his conversation with her. Shady.
Oh my God. Wait, I'm sick.
He said it was because he was embarrassed. Yeah, he fucking should be. He's shady as heck.
Oh, buddy.
He didn't tell me when the kiss happened, and now he was afraid I would think it was more than what it was. I asked him to move out, and he is currently at his mother's.
Hell yeah, OP.
He keeps saying that there's nothing between them, that he loves me and could never cheat on me, that he will make her come clean to me, that he will quit his job and never see her again. I'm just so brokenhearted right now, and all I want is to cry. Thank you for listening. I needed this. And then there was a short edit. Maybe I should have mentioned that he also told me he could prove it was she who came onto him because it happened in the office cafeteria and there were surveillance cameras, and that he could request the clip from that day. Who he kissed doesn't really change how I feel about this whole ordeal.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
Like, part of me kind of believes him.
I'm like, why is part of me also kind of believing him? Am I just like gaslighting myself, or is he really good at gaslighting us?
Yeah, is he really gaslighting all of us right now?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he didn't, let's break it down into parts. The fact that his colleague disrespected his wife to her face and he said nothing
is in and of itself a problem.
Yeah. But let's say you have a perfect relationship and you never have major issues and that's the only thing that's ever happened. Sometimes people make mistakes and they just don't understand how to act in certain situations, and maybe he would learn from it. I'm really giving this guy the benefit of the doubt here.
And we don't normally do that here.
No, I don't. Usually I'm like, dump his ass and move on. But I'm really trying. But then he also talked shit on his wife and made fun of her in text messages.
And then deleted the text messages because he was embarrassed or to cover his tracks.
Yeah, embarrassed is a really good excuse.
I'm also a firm believer that, like, you can make anything look the way you want it to look. Like, he deleted the messages and then he's like, and I can prove to you that she came on to me. Like, and then if he can't get the surveillance footage or quote can't get it,
right,
he's gonna ask her to validate it, like, oh, tell my wife that we never did this, because that's what they do. That's what liars do.
Yeah.
I mean, I was cheated on by a very long-term boyfriend in high school, and he had the girl text me and be like, nothing ever happened while you guys were dating. And I was like, okay, you little shit. Like, I don't want to hear anything you have to say.
Yeah, like
I don't want to hear anything he has to say, but he's gonna make you say this to me to cover his tracks.
Yeah, and like the girl in that situation is probably also being manipulated by the man, so she's gonna do anything he asks of her.
Or she's just desperate to get him to like her.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
is that being manipulated, though? That's being desperate.
She probably thinks that she's going to get something from him if she does this for him,
I guess. Or he's just not going to shit on her. Or she thinks, like, he's just going to start trusting her.
Yeah. Or, like, maybe I'll still have a shot with him if I do this favor for him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a firm believer that, like, when someone cheats on their significant other, the extra person isn't at fault. Like, the person doing the cheating is at fault.
Yeah.
But to an extent. Like, if this coworker, say they are cheating, this coworker knows he's married, has met the wife, is also cheating. Like, she is very much to blame here. Like, him saying, oh, I need to cover my tracks, you need to help me. Maybe she's then going to be like, oh, shit, I should probably do this.
I don't know. She told her...
I don't necessarily think she's being manipulated by this man's.
Yeah, maybe not in this situation. But she did tell her boyfriend the truth. So if that wasn't the truth, why would she tell her boyfriend? Like, what would be the reason to tell her boyfriend that?
I mean, maybe that's the truth, but she didn't elaborate on the details of the truth. Like, there's more extent than she told him.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think she made that up. I think she definitely kissed him at the work party and has feelings for him.
Yeah, definitely. And her saying, I think he has feelings for me too, that's just like a guess. She doesn't actually know that.
Unless he said it.
But then if he did say it to her, she wouldn't have said, I think he has feelings for me too. She'd say, he told me he has feelings for me.
So why is she dating this guy then? Because the other couple's married.
Maybe
this girl can walk away.
Maybe she thinks that she's going to shoot her shot with the married guy, and if it works out, then she'll leave her boyfriend for him, and if it doesn't work out, then at least she still has her boyfriend. People are fricked.
Yeah, people really do
People do weird shit like that.
Frick.
And then same thing I was saying earlier, people are like, but if you really aren't happy in your relationship, why didn't you just leave already? It's like, it's so hard to come to terms with the fact that you're married and deep down you are unhappy. Like, your subconscious might be telling you that. You might be attracted to tons of other people and not be feeling fulfilled. But to come to terms with that and accept it and say it out loud and then go to your partner, even harder if you're married to that person, that changes your entire life. It is so hard to do that. So that's why people stay. Not that that's a reason to stay, but that's why people do it.
Yeah. No, I get it. I just hate cheaters. So here we are in the same conversation we have all the time, and I'm just like livid about every little detail. Because nothing changes like my mind on these types of things. I'm not saying you're trying to change my mind. I see all the reasons. I guess I'm just at a loss for words every time we talk about cheaters because there's nothing more that I can possibly say at this point.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying that it's right. It's so wrong. But that's the reason people stay and people cheat, because they're too weak to do the right thing.
Yeah.
They're just like little, I was going to say rats, but like rats are fine.
Yeah, they're like the gum on the bottom of your shoe.
Yeah.
Like too weak to stick to only your shoe, partially stick to the sidewalk, and then just get dragged along.
Wow.
Being disgusting and annoying.
Yeah, and just ruining your whole day.
Yeah.
And potentially your whole pair of shoes.
Yeah. Like literally don't ruin my shoes.
Yeah.
Don't stop being nasty gum. Whether you're a cheater or you're the side host, stop being nasty gum.
And then it takes so long to clean your shoes.
It takes so long to get the gum off your shoe.
And even if you get most of it off, there's always still going to be that little stain that just reminds you that the gum was there.
The stain is there, and you had to walk around with that little stickiness on the bottom of your foot whenever you wanted to just like get your steps in. You're like, stick.
Yeah.
Like, you're disgusting.
Yeah. And you can take the shoes off and maybe you forget about the shoes for a few weeks or a few months, but eventually the shoes are going to come back to you. And you're going to have to remember the stupid gum that happened to you.
And then you're going to have to donate them and think about how you should have thrown them in the trash. Just like the gum should have been put in the trash. But no, it was dropped on the sidewalk and you had to step in it.
Wait, why are we blaming the person that stepped in it? Blame the gum. It's not the shoe owner's fault. It's the gum's fault.
Sorry. You know what's worse than like being the gum? Being the gum that picks up all the dirt off the ground.
I feel like this metaphor is going really far to the point where we're losing it because you were about to just start victim blaming because we forgot who was the bad guy in the metaphor.
Sorry.
So back to the story. Yeah, the husband fucking sucks. If he's telling the truth, I feel like OP, you have to ask yourself, considering all of the information and everything you know about your husband, the evidence that the work wife's boyfriend has given to you, do you believe your husband? And if you do believe him, can you gain that trust back that you lost through this situation? Or
That's really hard.
If you don't believe him, can he ever get trust back?
Can you recover from this? And I guess what it comes down to is how much other shit there is in the relationship.
Yeah.
Like, has he lost your trust before? Has he gained it back before?
Yeah.
And we'll never know.
Yeah. And I think
there might be an update and we could know and Kelly won't read it.
I will continue to look for updates. It's just hard because I feel like I hate to justify shitty behavior, but people do make mistakes. And if his only mistake was like making a bad joke with his work wife, which I hate that concept anyway, or not standing up for her when the work wife was being rude to her, I feel like if that's something that OP can talk to her partner about and get through, then sure, your relationship might be able to be saved. But I don't know. If he actually cheated on you, I'm like, he doesn't deserve you, baby. Get the hell out.
Right. Like, don't keep walking around with the gum on the bottom of your shoe. Decide if it's worth to keep the shoes and scrape the gum off or keep wearing the shoes.
Does that? Yeah. Okay. Sure.
It makes sense.
Yeah. I feel really bad for OP, though, because I feel like she was blindsided by this. And this had definitely been going on.
And she would have never known if they hadn't gone on the work
That's
retreat.
what I'm saying. Like, she only found out this information because the work wife took it too far and insulted her to her face. And if she never took it that far,
asshole.
The husband wouldn't have just been like, oh yeah, babe, by the way, this girl kissed me at work and I am a little bit too flirty with her at work sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you just would never have found that information out.
Right. But she still would have never found out if she hadn't spoken to the other boyfriend and he hadn't gotten the truth. Like, imagine you think that your husband finally tells you the truth and then more truth comes out. I don't know, like, he's clearly not being completely upfront because he could have told her from the start, like, look, she has feelings for me, I've been trying to push it off, she literally tried to kiss me at work, but he didn't. I think that if this were me, now that I'm delving more into this, there is no bouncing back from this because he was not truthful up front. You asked him for the truth. He was still not truthful. I think that you stepped in some gum. Your options are to scrape the gum off and keep wearing the shoes or donate the shoes. And I think at this point, donate the shoes.
Yeah, I feel like at first I was like, oh, well, maybe we could make it work because of this or this. And then I'm like, wait, no. Everything just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Regardless of the situation, if the work wife really did come on to him and he really doesn't have feelings for her, he lied to the wife once. He hid the truth from her. She gave him a chance to come out. He did it again. We're not coming back from this. End of discussion. Done. Yeah,
husband sucks. And good for you for kicking him out. He can go cry at his mom's house in the same way that I'm sure you were crying when he and his colleague ripped you apart for being a hairstylist.
Yeah, frick him.
Yeah, frick him. That's so sad. Okay, moving on to something even happier. Another breakup.
Love that.
Let's decide if this is breakup worthy.
Probably.
Girlfriend of a year and a half still wants to keep our relationship a secret. I, male 23, have been dating my current girlfriend, female 23, for a year and a half now. We've been best friends for 6 years. She wants to keep the relationship a secret, not private. As in, close friends and family don't know about our relationship. I respected her want to keep it secret for a while, but I figured it's been long enough to simply let our closest friends and family know, while still keeping the relationship private, not secret. She still put her foot down, and her reasons are as followed. We've been best friends for a relatively long time. We've had other relationships during this period. Her exes have generally been insecure about me, and my exes have been insecure about her. Rest assured, we've been faithful and respectful in terms of boundaries in our own relationships. She's afraid of the I told you so's and the added drama that could follow. Personally, I know I'm faithful and respectful, and I do not care about what these other people no longer in my life think or say. She's afraid of the friend group dynamic changing. We've been best friends for a long time, and we have had a small handful of other friends that we always see as a group. I understood at first, but it comes to a point where I feel like it's been enough time and it should be okay to tell them. My rationale was that if they were our real friends, which I believe they are, information about us dating would not change anything, and they wouldn't judge or treat us any differently, and nothing would change whatsoever. She then goes to a different argument, asking me why I care so much about what other people think about our relationship. That's ironic.
That's a gaslight. Honestly.
And why keeping it a secret is a bad thing, especially when everything's good now. What does telling others change? This isn't the case for me, and I'm not sure how to put it into words to come back with an argument for myself. These are her main rationale for her stance on keeping the relationship a secret. It doesn't affect my day-to-day, and the relationship is fine. But in the future, I see this becoming a bigger and bigger issue. Please give me advice on how I should approach this, or even insight on why she feels this way so I could further understand. Thanks. Her argument is so backwards.
I hate her argument.
Her argument is literally, why do you care about what other people think? But then
She doesn't want to tell other people.
she doesn't want her exes to know because she's scared of what they will think. This girl.
Yeah.
She's 23. She needs to grow the fuck up.
Yeah, that's
Come on.
That's super immature. I'm baffled. Yes, grounds for breakup. I think that there is no reason that after a year and a half in this situation that this should be kept a secret.
Yeah, not one of those reasons is a good reason. And if you're in a relationship where you are scared to tell your closest family and friends, I just don't think that's healthy.
No, not at all.
Because if you're in a positive, healthy, loving relationship, you should want your family and friends to know that, or at least be comfortable with them knowing this information about you.
Yeah.
And a relationship is a huge part of your life. So do you just lie to your family and friends? I mean, I'm not sure about everyone else, but when I hang out with my friends, in the past year and a half, they have asked me about my relationship status.
Right.
They've asked me if I have any romantic interest in anyone from time to time. It's not the only thing we talk about, but it definitely comes up.
Yeah, and you just flat out, no.
Especially if you're hanging out in groups of people. Like, have you never been out anywhere and your friend is like, oh, that guy's cute? Or if someone tries to talk to you and you just like shut it down.
Yeah,
like, how do you keep a relationship a secret?
You've been dating this guy for a year and a half, so you've probably been single for at least 2 years, and none of your friends are like, I want to set you up with so-and-so, or I want you to find, or we should go out and meet.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks you're single.
Right.
And you see no reason to tell them otherwise.
I think it's so odd that you're that comfortable with lying to your closest family and friends. Like, I totally get the private relationship thing. Like, I love that idea. I feel like I will be more private in relationships in my life, just on like the social media front. But my close family and friends, like, that's a different story.
Yeah, how do you hide this person? How do you not take them to things?
Yeah. Like, especially after that long, wouldn't you think they'd be way more integrated into your life?
Right. And also, if you've been, I get that not everyone loves the transition from like friends to relationships, or like telling your family, oh yeah, we are dating after your family's known them as a friend for so many years. Like, I get maybe it can be scary.
Yeah.
But all of these people in your life know and probably love this person because you've had them around for so long.
Yeah.
And you're still not going to, I don't like that at all. I don't like it. No.
I think the girl I think she's really insecure and she's not fulfilled in this relationship, because I think if she was, she would feel way more comfortable telling the people she loves about it.
And I think like the biggest red flag is that she's concerned about what her exes will think.
Yeah, exactly.
If you are at all concerned about what your ex thinks, you are not ready to be with someone else.
Yeah. That rationale is insane, and it's so irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like, I could see it at first if as soon as you get into a relationship, you're like, damn, you were the guy that I told all my exes not to worry about. Like, say that lighthearted joke, that lighthearted comment. But to dwell on that for a year and a half, aka the entirety,
where you can't be honest about the person you love,
entirety of your relationship, you're still thinking about what your exes think. That means you care more about what your exes think than your current partner, and that means you shouldn't be dating that person. It's not fair to the OP.
No, that's enough. Cut it off. Figure it out. Put your foot down, OP.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
And you either come out with it or that's it. Yeah,
this just seems so immature and not worth your time. Also, just think, like, if you're dating someone, and I just feel like it's giving the energy that she's embarrassed to be with him.
Yeah, it is.
And if someone is embarrassed to be with me, they need to get a freaking clue.
Bye.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
You should be wanting to post me, you know?
Yeah, no way.
That's how I think.
No way.
You should be wanting to scream it from the rooftops that you landed me.
You should, not even wanting to. You already should be.
Yeah. Like, imagine
Absolutely
landing me.
Good frickin' luck.
Exactly. Okay.
All right.
OP,
next.
that's the energy you need to keep. My 37 female, boyfriend, 29 male, puts his family before me, and I think I should leave. My boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years, and we live together. The problem is that he puts his family, mother, stepsisters, father, before me. I was able to shrug this off for most of the relationship, but he was recently invited to his sister's wedding, and I was excluded. About a year ago, my boyfriend and I had an argument because we had family over on his birthday. I was fine with that, despite working a 70-hour work week. This turned into a house party. I asked him to shut it down at 10 so I could get sleep before work. He refused because he was not going to kick his family out. The argument got loud and his sister interjected, then started pulling other family members, some that had already left, into the mess. Since then, I have avoided her. I don't need someone creating more issues. To make matters worse, this prompted his mom to show up the next day and demand to know what happened. I told her no and to mind her own business, and she chased me to my room, where she cornered me and proceeded to scream at me even though I told her to leave. My boyfriend stood behind her in the hall. I asked my boyfriend to make her stop and he refused. She finally left and I was subjected to several nasty text messages from his mother. A month later, my boyfriend was invited to a party his sister was throwing. He didn't go because he was tired. I woke up the next day to a text from his sister that told me I was abusive to my boyfriend. I showed my boyfriend and he brought his parents into the issue. I was livid about this because we are adults and it should have been taken up with his sister. He told me that he talked to her and she denied doing it. Then proceeded to say I made it up or sent it to myself.
From her number?
That's very easily proven. I asked him how I would do that from her phone. He said that because I refused to forward to his parents, I am lying about the text that he has seen. Okay. 6 months after this incident, his sister sends out wedding invites and I was intentionally left out. I asked my boyfriend about this and he initially told me that if I wanted to go, I need to call and talk to his sister. I found this to not only be rude, but in bad taste. My boyfriend initially told me he agreed with and supported her idea. I told him that if he went without me, we were done. His options were to tell her that I go or he doesn't. He ended up going, then changed the story to say that it was his idea to exclude me from the wedding.
Either way, it's just as bad.
I don't feel like I can continue the relationship. Am I being irrational? I know he will continue to take his family's side and I feel very disrespected.
Walk away. Goodbye.
What are you still doing here? You have your answer.
This is a whole can of nonsense.
This is like one of those situations where over and over again, we try to justify the actions of a guy or girl, whatever, that we like just because sometimes the relationship feels good. Like, obviously, there's something that this man has that OP likes about him.
It's not a family.
Definitely not his family.
It's not a personality.
Definitely not his communication skills.
It's not how much he loves her, how he stands up for her.
I don't know what it is, but OP, just like think about this. Is this the person you want to walk down the aisle to? The person whose family abuses you physically and emotionally? Who screams in your face while your boyfriend just stands there and watches, and when you ask for his help, he doesn't help you? Is that the person that's meant for you? Let's truly think about this.
I would love to know why. Like, is OP mentally unstable and can't leave this relationship? Is there some crazy background we don't know about? Is it just for...
I mean, I feel like let's pretend like everything is great, but the only thing wrong in the relationship is his family or like things that involve his family.
Still walk away, because this is not just one situation. This is not those episodes where we read about like the mom and the sister-in-law did something crazy for the wedding, or they had an issue with how I was doing X, Y, and Z. And no, this is one thing after the other after the other. Yeah. This is batshit crazy. And guess what? Him playing into this, saying like, oh, well, if you don't forward it to my parents, it's probably not true. Or refusing, like standing behind his screaming mother and refusing to. He is the problem.
Yeah. And also the fact that, like, I feel like you can have a relationship with someone who has a toxic family if they're willing to create boundaries with their family. This man clearly isn't doing that. So if he came to you and he was like, my family sucks, but I want to make it work with you, sure, figure it out. That is not what's happening here. You're saying, OP is the one saying, he is choosing his family over me and he's always going to do that. I can't take it anymore. He does all these horrible things to me. I want to leave. Should I leave or am I being irrational? No, you answered your own question.
Leave. It just sounds like everyone in this house is toxic and it's probably an abusive household and people come out of that abusive.
Yeah.
And he is already feeding into this. There is no reason to give him another day.
Yeah.
Not another day on earth. Like, don't kill him, but like another day in your life.
I feel like obviously not everyone that comes from a toxic situation becomes toxic or abusive, but I feel like he already is abusive because he's in on it when his mom is screaming at you in the corner of your bedroom. So toxic. I feel like we're done here. And so are you. And we're breaking up.
Yeah.
You answered your own question.
Walk away from that shit.
Damn, I just got so heated.
Walk away.
Ugh. Am I the asshole for threatening breaking up over materialistic things after engagement? So I, female 24, have been living with my fiancé, male 26, for almost 2 years now. We met online and were in a long-distance relationship for a while. During that time, I had always seen him at home and only up to his chest. Honestly believed it didn't matter because love and all that. When we started living together, I realized he dressed really bad. Not as in bad fashion sense, rather that there's food spills on his clothes. His pants never fit right, have bobblings all over them. He wears a Crocs ripoff that have a huge hole underneath. If he pulled his pants over his sweatshirt, it will stay that way. If his jeans have runs up to his knees on them, he will leave it that way. I've constantly been trying to fix these for him while telling him that these are basic things and he needs to put himself together. He nods but never changes. He has said that he just doesn't care about how other people see him, and I know it's the new generation thing, but I wasn't raised that way. Note, both my fiancé and I look younger than our age. Him to the point where we can't make plans without his ID. Seeing him at home like this doesn't disgust me as it would if a big grown man was this way. So it hasn't felt like a big enough reason to break it off. That is such a terrible reason. She's basically saying that because he looks younger than he is, I consider him a child in my mind, so I justify his behavior.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, it's also just like because she's saying like he could look like a crusty old ass man, but he's young. He's not a crusty old ass man. He's young. He'll get past it.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that I could do this and keep fixing it for him, but this isn't the type of man I envisioned my future husband with. My family has not met him in person yet, and they would be extremely disappointed if they did. I am not uber rich or the like, but me and my older brother, were raised to have manners, taught how to sit, walk, talk, and my mother spent a lot of time fixing our posture and elegance. I often get complimented about this too. My family values beauty in the little things, so I hope you understand why the contrast hurts me so much. Yesterday, my fiancé and I went to pick up takeout. We came across this beautiful wine bar and he wanted to go there instead. We were not expecting such a place, but I'm always dressed in dresses and heels, so I could pass for it. He, however, was wearing my old homeware sweatpants, too small for him and had a hole in it, with an overstretched white t-shirt that he had lunch still stuck on it, with his beloved Crocs. This was terrible in itself, yet I would have kept it together, but he suddenly started scratching his butt in public, right in front of the bar reception. I immediately pulled his arm away, as if to link arms with him, and whispered "stop" to him, to which he announced pretty loudly that his butt was itchy. A few people turned, but he obviously didn't notice. I felt like I was about to cry, even though that's not in my nature. So I left and he followed. While complaining to him about manners and public display, he touched his crotch, which is something he does when he has to use the washroom.
I hate when men do that.
I told him that I don't. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm crying right now. I told him that I don't see.
What? Get it out.
Just the way that she wrote this whole story is ridiculous. I told him that I don't see a future with someone who is an embarrassment. He just kept quiet. Right? That's cruel. Holy shit. I now feel guilty about this since it's a really rude thing to say, and I am wondering if I was the asshole.
Okay, you were an asshole. You were.
I mean, you said something extremely rude and uncalled for.
That makes you an asshole in that moment.
Yeah.
Is his butt being itchy making you an asshole? No.
Yeah. Her question was, is she an asshole for threatening to break up over materialistic things? In my opinion, you can break up with someone over any reason at all.
Yeah.
As long as you are respectful and honest. Anything you want can be a deal breaker. It's your life. It's your relationship. So if you don't want to date someone that scratches their butt at the classy wine bar, that's good enough a reason, as long as you're honest about it.
Then don't date us.
Speak for yourself. No, seriously, as long as you're honest about it, I think you could break up with him because his hair's too short, or like literally anything.
Yeah. I think
it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else.
It literally doesn't matter what you want to break up with someone for. And if you have a standard and he's not meeting that standard, fine, walk away. If you really don't like that he's wearing your sweatpants and Crocs, I hate sweatpants and Crocs too. I don't blame you. But if you really have a problem with this, that is okay. You can't change someone.
Well, I feel like that's hard though, because sometimes you can teach people things. Like,
I mean, you can teach like manners and dress code, sure. But like some people just don't care how they look.
Some people, yeah. And he might be one of them.
And he just doesn't care.
I think the most important thing is that you tried. Like you said that you tried to teach him manners and like dress codes and stuff. So,
and I was going to say, we don't know that he's ill-mannered, but he is scratching his butt and grabbing his crotch at the fancy wine bar.
Right.
So maybe he is ill-mannered. That's the difference. I think that not meeting a certain level of dress code and being ill-mannered are two separate things.
Yeah, totally.
Because I know extremely wealthy people who dress like dirt and they don't care and it doesn't matter because it just doesn't matter. But they're still well mannered when they go out in public, and I've seen them go out in sweatpants and Crocs. It does not matter as long as they're polite and mannered. Well, so it's what is bothering you here? Like, is it the dressing or is it the manners?
Yeah.
And then it doesn't matter. You can break up with someone for either of those reasons. It doesn't matter. But if you really hate his fashion and he is not going to change that, that's something that you have to decide.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, it does matter if he dresses bad, if there's a dress code in a private business, Yeah. Because it's like, oh, it doesn't matter people wear. Well, yeah, it does, because some places actually might not let you in if you're wearing sweatpants.
But I'm saying
and a
like
t-shirt.
in day-to-day life.
Yeah, totally. But she said that she's okay with it at home. So I feel like you just either need to teach him and be like, babe, I love you. I want to marry you. If that's how you feel. If this is your person and everything is bliss and the only thing about him that isn't ideal for you and your ideal partner is that he doesn't dress that well, doesn't understand dress codes, and is dirty. She didn't say he's dirty, though. He doesn't have social cues. He just had a
little bit of lunch on the front of his shirt.
Okay, I guess that's dirty.
Which,
or messy.
To be fair, I often have lunch on the front of my shirt.
Yeah, it happens. Obviously, people spill on their clothing sometimes, but, like, does that mean, I don't know. It seems that it's a habit with him. It seems that it's every time.
Yeah,
and he doesn't wear a clean shirt the next day. He'll just keep wearing the dirty shirt over and over and over again.
I guess. We don't know that he's actually wearing the dirty shirt over.
I mean, that's what she's saying, though, right?
She didn't say stuff gets worn over and over and over again. She said he's just wearing, like, ugly outfits, torn up things that should have been thrown away. But he's not saying she didn't say they're dirty.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference, too.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if you're embarrassed to introduce this man to your family, is that the person you want to spend the rest of your life with?
No,
Someone that you're embarrassed of? Probably not.
That's totally different, yeah.
I mean, maybe you can tell him, like, I really feel like we're incompatible because of these reasons. And if he's willing to change, then maybe it'll work out. But if he's not, then you're incompatible.
And you already said yes to marrying him, and you've lived with him for 2 years. Like, you had to know that this was the way it was when you said yes.
Well, she didn't live with him. She said it was long distance, and she would see him over webcam.
But did they get engaged before they lived together?
Maybe. I don't know.
All I can think about is the show Catfish.
Yeah.
And it was, they never showed their faces or anything, or like on real video chat. And it would always be like old people talking to young people. And at one point they found this guy And Max and Neve, the hosts of Catfish on MTV, literally said to this man, every time we don't know what we're walking into, we think we're walking into a crusty 60-year-old man who's just disgusting. And look, we finally found you. And I was like,
oh my God, that's so mean.
yeah, but this man was like catfishing like a teenage girl.
Oh. Okay.
You know.
Never mind.
Yeah, no. But like,
he deserved it.
Like, that's what I'm picturing. Like Max and Neve looking at this fiance being like, we finally found you.
Yeah. I feel like it's problematic that she's like, he looks younger than he is, so it doesn't really bug me. It's like, what?
Well, when he gets older, you're going to walk away.
Yeah. I feel like that's not the reason to let it slide.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of reasoning is that? But no, you're not an asshole for wanting to break up over something that's a non-negotiable for you. But telling him that he's embarrassing to his face is a little bit asshole-ish.
Yeah, that's a little bit asshole-y. And then maybe just in a nice way ask him not to scratch his butt and announce to the wine bar that his butt is itchy.
Yeah. Tell him to read the room.
Yeah, definitely.
I broke up with my boyfriend because he lied by omission. My female 22 boyfriend, male 23, was amazing. I thought he was so sweet and considerate. I've never been treated so kindly and supportively in a relationship. We were only together for 2 months. Last Friday, I met his friend, female 26, and we all had dinner together. I felt vaguely uncomfortable all night, but I wanted them to have a nice time together because I thought they were solely platonic friends. I come to find out, after asking where they met in the Uber home, I didn't remember if he had told me, he hadn't, that they met on Tinder a couple of years ago. I also found out he had another female friend he talked about a bit that he met on Tinder. He said nothing ever happened and that they were just friends. But he had been talking all week about how she was so cool and so amazing, and oh my God, can you believe she does this and that, etc. And he spent all night with her and her boyfriend making sexual jokes about her. When I told him afterwards that I felt uncomfortable about that, he told me that it was just two autistic guys vibing. And it didn't mean anything, but it really didn't feel that way. It felt like he had feelings for her. He claimed that they were only platonic friends, but I don't believe that. I have a lot of platonic friends that I've met on Tinder where nothing else ever happened, but I've always been upfront about where I met them because I don't want him to get the wrong idea. I don't want to be the jealous girlfriend, and I don't think he has given me sufficient reason to trust his word, given that he has lied to me already. Yeah, justified.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like it's giving the same energy as the work wife.
Yeah, it is. And like just to lie about where you met them, like if it's big enough a deal to hide it or lie about it,
yeah,
it's big enough a deal to break up with them.
Yeah, exactly. Like if he didn't think it was an issue, well, I guess you could make the other argument for that too.
He never thought it was an issue, so he didn't bring it up.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I didn't even think you would care. I just feel like going forward in all relationships, like let's do this, and everyone listening, we can all do this. If you meet someone on a dating app, most likely you have the intention to date or hook up with them. And so then if you become friends with that person and when you start dating someone new, I feel like the honest thing to do if you respect your new partner is to tell them that at one point you had interest or intent to date or hook up with this other person. Yeah. And now you're friends.
You can be honest and say like, oh yeah, I swiped left or swiped right on her and nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
Like you can say that if you never really if you never actually dated or you never hooked up, you never actually did anything with the person.
Yeah.
Then tell them that.
Exactly. And if you're scared to tell them because you think that it's going to start a fight or they won't believe you or they're going to get mad about it, then means,
you should probably tell them.
Exactly. And that means that there's not enough trust in your relationship. So you need to take the next steps to put the honesty out there and share the information and then figure out how to gain or build trust after that.
Yeah. This is just like crazy to me. I dated this guy in college that we were like friends for so long before we, quote unquote dated. And we went to different colleges and our colleges were like not that far apart. And he would always come stay with me and go out in my college town with me. And one time we were out with a bunch of friends and like this girl came and met up with us that he was friends with. And I was like, oh my God, love her. She's great. She's so fun. Befriended her. So that night, I don't know if it was a school night or what, but I like needed to go to bed. And he was like, okay, okay, I'm going to stay out just to catch up with her. And I was like, that's fine. I have no reason not to trust you. And I'm like the most hands-off, whatever kind of person when it comes to things like that. I'm like, I have platonic male friends. Like, I would want to hang out with them too. Go ahead, by all means. Went home, went to bed. I was like, I'll leave my door unlocked, whatever. He just like never came back. And I texted him in the morning and I was like, hey, like whatever. He's like, yeah, so sorry. I ended up staying out really late. Didn't want to wake you up. I ended up sleeping at the girl's house. And I'm like, okay, I've slept at my guys' friends' houses before. What do I care? And I just like let it go. And then it turns out, like, long story short, months later, like I kept dating him, whatever. We broke up for other reasons. And it come to find out that a good friend of mine actually went to high school with both of these people. Tells me they had dated in high school for a long time. And at some point, my good friends were out at a bar and ran into this girl. And my friend had told my other friends, like, oh, that's the girl that boy's name cheats on all of his girlfriends with. And my friends thought that they shouldn't tell me that because that it would upset me and they didn't think that they wanted to upset me. I'm not mad at my friends for not telling me that because I get they thought they were protecting me. But when I found this out all that time later after these sleepovers and the hanging out with her, I was like, huh. If I would have known from the start.
Wow.
Why did you waste my time? Like, do you know how hot I am? Do you know the men that I could have been with in that time period?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Because people are so selfish.
And
they
just,
only
like,
care about themselves.
Insecure. Like, imagine being that trash. Like, you know what kind of men I could have had in that time period. And thank God those men were still waiting around after the breakup because God bless, we love a good rebound. But, like, come on, you were not a half a step above any of them. And if you thought that you should keep someone like me waiting around, please. Just for the record, I ran into this guy a few years later after college, again, because we had a lot of overlapping friends. I was very drunk at a bar crawl, and I did tell him, just so you know, I am the hottest girl you ever dated. And in his drunk mind, while he was dating this other girl, said to me, you are right. You are the hottest girl I ever dated. And I was like, I didn't need validation, but honey, if there was such a thing as validation.
Wow, he's literally so trash. He's doing to his girlfriend what our first husband did to his work wife.
Shit.
Or not work wife. Yeah, his work wife. He was trashing his girlfriend to you.
Oh, well, just to be clear, the girlfriend that he was trashing to me was the girl that he was cheating on me and all of his other girlfriends with. Like, they got back together afterwards.
But he still admitted to somebody else that he had romantic interest in, that he doesn't think his girlfriend is hot or hotter than you.
Yeah. And it's true. It's just like, you don't have to say it.
Yeah.
Like we said in the last episode, some things are better left unsaid.
Yeah. But he is just as trash as work wife's husband. Or work wife's work husband. The guy OP's fricked up husband from the first story.
Yeah.
He's just as trash as him.
Yeah. Sucks.
Damn.
Sucks to be trash, but you know what I did? I scraped that gum off the bottom of my shoe and I kept on walking.
Facts. Facts. And how often do we think about this trash of a man?
Only when you hear trash stories.
Yeah, I was going to say just about never. Only when somebody's just as trash as he is.
Yeah, only when other trash comes up and it reminds you of the trash you once stepped in.
Okay, the next story is an example of just something that I feel like the OP might already know what we're going to say, but sometimes you just need to hear somebody else say it. And maybe some of our listeners might feel the same, and hopefully you can reflect on yourself.
Yeah.
My partner starts a fight and calls me crazy every time I tell him how I feel. I, 20 female, have been dating my partner, 28 male, for almost a year, and during this time, we haven't gone a month without fighting at least multiple times. After the fights, he would completely ignore me for days or even weeks. The fights would always start by me trying to communicate with him nicely about how I feel about certain things, what I'd like him to change, or how something he does is hurting me. For example, I feel uncomfortable about him following around 20 new girls every month, and I try to communicate how I feel about it nicely. I don't ask him to stop, I simply tell him how I feel and try to find a solution. He immediately gets mad, says I'm starting a fight, which I'm not, and starts ignoring my messages.
What? Sorry, I was trying to start my lighter because we're fucking gaslighting right now.
Oh, yes. Facts.
Ugh.
I then send a few messages trying to explain to him how it upsets me that he always thinks me communicating about my feelings means I'm starting a fight. That's when he would start calling me crazy, a psycho, and annoying for texting him so much, and that I need help for that. I admit that I send him quite a few texts after fighting, but it's just me trying to explain myself and how it hurts that he's not communicating or asking him to make up because I don't want to be ghosted for weeks. It's
weeks?
Yeah, it's really exhausting. He has ended things so many times over me texting him too much after a fight. Every time after ghosting me or ending things, he'd text me again like nothing has happened, and if I bring up anything about what happened prior, he'd get upset again, so we never get to resolve anything. It's not just about other girls. This also happens when I try talking to him about wanting to meet up more often, wanting him to talk to me more, and stuff like that. Sometimes I wonder if I'm just really annoying and picking a fight over everything. Any advice on how to fix this or what I should do?
Hey. Bye.
I feel so bad for this girl because she's 20 years old. She's basically a child. 2.5 years ago, she would have been a child. He hasn't been a child for 10.5 years. There's so many things wrong here. One is that he's 28 and you're 20 years old. The power dynamic is absurd.
Right.
He is so easily manipulating you and you don't even see it. There is no quality that this man could have that would outweigh all the shitty things that he is doing to you right now.
Absolutely.
The only thing that you should ever say to him again is, it's been great, goodbye, this is over. And walk away, block him, move on. This is not what the person that's meant for you is going to do. This is not how the person that is your soulmate that you should be with and put effort into the relationship, this is not how that person's going to treat you. I'm so sorry that it has gotten this bad, but the gaslighting is so real.
It is so real. This is like the prime. If you didn't really understand what gaslighting was in a relationship, here it is. We just laid it out on the table for you.
Yeah.
This is insane. I mean, I've literally been there when I was like, 16 and 17 dating someone. And this turned into like an emotionally, mentally like abusive relationship.
Yeah.
And it started with this.
Yeah.
So please, for the love of God, for like 16-year-old Erin, like please walk away from this because you have no idea how much harm this can do to you.
Yeah. And not to say age gaps are always bad because sometimes they work, but 8 years is a long time when you're 20 years old.
Right.
So
when he can go to the bar and you can't.
Exactly.
That makes a difference.
Yeah. He's been an adult for 10 years. You've been an adult for 2 years.
He knows adult life without you. You don't know it without him.
Yeah, exactly. Like you need to be on your own, find yourself, have experiences that are going to teach you what you want and what you deserve.
Get therapy before it's too late. Like this is just crazy. Kelly said it herself. Like OP, we already know what OP wants to do and just needs to hear it from us.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Yeah. It's so sad that in relationships like this, especially when the people are younger, I almost feel like I'm thinking of this girl as like a little sister or like a little cousin. Yeah. And it's like you're 20 years old. Any 28-year-old that is seeking out a 20-year-old, I'm like, what's the reasoning there?
No.
Like, what is... I feel like there has to be... What?
I wonder how they met.
Yeah. I feel like there has to be some underlying reason why this 28-year-old is dating someone that's basically a child. This person can't even legally drink and you want to date them. Also, I feel like he doesn't even want to date you. The fact that he's okay ignoring you for days and weeks just because you're trying to talk to him, is that the kind of relationship that you want? Because he has shown you who he truly is. That's not going to just change overnight. No. So this is going to be how your relationship is for as long as your relationship lasts.
No. He has this control and he's enjoying it. You're his little puppet right now.
Exactly.
Break those strings and run for the hills.
Also, what you're doing right now, every time he mentally abuses you, gaslights you, ignores you, and then comes back like nothing ever happened, you are showing him that he can do, and I'm not trying to victim blame. I just want you to keep this in your mind so that you can stand up for yourself now and in the future. But you're showing him that he can basically do anything to you, and you're going to just take him back and accept it.
Yeah.
So you need to not accept this with this relationship or ever again in the future.
Yeah.
Walk away. Find someone that will treat you well, because there are people out there that will.
Mm-hmm.
And use this as a learning experience. I'm so sorry you ever went through it, but the best thing you can do right now is leave this relationship and never go back to it.
This is like, this just breaks my heart.
I know.
And it's so hard. Like, please walk away from this.
I know.
If any single person listens to this podcast episode and walks away from a person like this, like one person, I will literally feel like my relationship like this was not for nothing. Like, please walk away.
I know. I think about that too. Like, even like things that idea of, I wish I knew then what I know now. Like, there's so many situations in my 20s where people just didn't treat me right. Yeah. And I'm like, I wish I fucking called it out. What are you losing by calling it out? Like, let's say that someone is treating you shitty and being manipulative or whatever, and you call them out on it. If they leave you or abandon you because of that, what are you really losing?
The only thing you're possibly losing is your own sanity, because if this OP calls out this man's, he's gonna twist it on her. There is no speaking from experience, there is no calling these people out. You are at that point wasting your own time, breath, and sanity.
True.
Don't even call it out. For your own good, walk away.
Okay. Instead of saying calling it out, I should have said putting up with it. Because the only thing that you're going to lose if you tell yourself that you're not going to put up with this kind of behavior anymore is this kind of behavior.
Yeah.
Like, what are you losing if you lose this guy? You're losing a manipulator, someone that does not respect you, someone that ignores you for weeks on end. And going back to what I said earlier, think about this. Do you want to walk down the aisle to this guy? Ugh. Do you want to walk down the aisle to a guy that ignores you, gaslights you, manipulates you, tells you that you're trying to start a fight every single time you want to talk to him?
Do not make us show up at that wedding and grab you before you can
Get the gavel. I would be objecting.
Yeah, please speak now.
Yeah.
Or forever hold your peace. We're jumping up in that pew.
Yeah.
Please run for the hills, OP.
Also, just in general, even if the situation wasn't that bad, I even think about like things that guys have said to me or ways that they've acted in my presence a year ago. Yeah. And I'm like, why the hell did I not look that guy in the eye and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Or like, what did that mean? Like, people, we just let guys slide so easily.
To be fair, we let women slide too. You ever like have a coworker that says something to you, or like,
I'm talking from personal experience, like for myself. I'm like, I let so much slide. I should not say we, I should say I've just let guys say things to me and I'm just like, oh, but he's nice though, so like I just won't say it. No
one is that nice.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm no longer gonna get caught up in feelings enough to ignore.
If they're this, that nice, they wouldn't be behaving like this.
Exactly, that's the thing.
They're not that nice.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's called being a sociopath, putting on a front and not showing the outside world or just dark you.
Just being a dickhead. Like, sure, there are times where just mean people, they don't have to be a sociopath. They don't have to be like this deep thing. They could just be a person that sucks, that just isn't nice.
Like, these guys aren't the gum on the bottom of your shoe. They're like the dog poop in the bag that someone lit on fire on your front porch and you tried to stomp the fire out and you stepped in the dog poop.
Yeah.
That's these men.
They're just like the trash, And it's like, sometimes you need the trash. The trash benefits you.
You need it there.
Or you need the trash can, I guess.
You need it there to put your stuff in.
Yeah, exactly.
But honey, it's time to take out this trash.
Yeah.
It's time to kick it to the curb.
It's like, it served a purpose and now you need to move on and be done with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just feel like
I
just feel like nobody who is actually a good person is going to treat you this way, and nobody that you deserve, that the universe made for you, that God made for you, is going to treat you like that.
Absolutely not.
So leave him. I would say dump his ass immediately.
Yup.
Wow.
Good riddance.
I really hope someone needed to hear that.
I know a lot of people needed to hear that. I hope they hear it.
Okay, last story. My boyfriend thinks I'm a joke for being upset that he compared my body to his ex's. Okay, so on the wavelength of not putting up with anyone's shit. If your boyfriend thinks that you are a joke, not the person you're meant to be with.
If your boyfriend compares your body to his ex's,
not the person.
The one for you.
Okay. My boyfriend, male 22, and I, female 20, have been dating for almost 4 years. A few days ago, when he came over, we were cuddling. He looked at my stomach and smiled and said that he loved the way my stomach looked. I am very insecure with the way my stomach looks, as I have slight stretch marks, and usually my stomach is sensitive, so I get super bloated very easily. Anyways, it made me a bit happy that he said that. But then he started randomly telling me that I love stomachs like yours. It's perfect. I know that sounds weird, but you just look fantastic. And it's amazing how you are kind of built the same way as my ex. I instantly frowned and I was like, huh? And he was like, yeah, I have a type. I love girls with a stomach like yours. You and my ex have the same stomachs and you guys are kind of built the same. I don't know. I didn't really like that sentence. He knew I looked uncomfortable, so he just stopped talking. Fast forward to now. He brought it up, asked me if what he said was weird and wrong. I said yes. He should have just stopped at, I have a type and it's girls with stomachs like yours. Whatever. But he brought his ex into it and I felt like it just made it bad. I don't know. I don't have anything against his ex or anything, but it just made me upset that he complimented me by saying something like that. He said it's a weird thing to be upset about and I'm overanalyzing into the compliment too much. He keeps laughing about it. It makes me so upset. I'm raging inside. I don't know if I am really being too sensitive about this.
No.
I literally am fuming right now. The gaslighting of it all. He's telling you that what you're upset over isn't valid.
I have no words.
They were dating for 4 years and he's still bringing up his ex?
No. 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 No.
What?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna try to be open-minded. I get that people make mistakes. Like if you're dating someone for a few days, weeks, months, and they accidentally slip up and they're like, oh, my ex did that. Okay, that's one thing. Whatever. People make mistakes. 4 years in, why are you still thinking about your ex's body type? And then when your girlfriend, your partner is upset about it, why are you making fun of her and laughing at her? I hate this man with a burning passion.
I hate this man. OP, you are hot the way you are. I love your stomach and your stretch marks. Yeah. And you do not need a man's validation to feel good about yourself. We all get bloated. We all have stretch marks.
Yeah, that's what a normal body is.
Cares? Do not look for validation from someone who tries to give it to you in this manner.
Yeah.
He's wrong.
Oh my God. Horrible. Horrible. Ugh. So bad.
No.
And the ex comment is one thing. If you feel that you could get past it, do you? He's gaslighting you.
Yeah.
He thinks you're a joke. You're the one writing, my boyfriend thinks I'm a joke. If that sentence ever comes out of my mouth, call the church because I'm literally possessed. I feel so bad for this OP that she thinks that this is normal.
No.
That she thinks this is even something to question or wonder about. No, this is so not normal and you don't deserve this and you need to break up with him and dump his ass and move on. He sucks.
Done. We're done. Ugh. Side note, Kelly and I decided that in 2023 we're normalizing stretch marks.
Oh, okay. Did we just decide that?
No, you don't remember deciding this?
Oh, did I say that?
On my birthday trip?
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to normalize stretch marks for a long time because I have stretch marks even though my ass is so small.
I literally just ranted about this to my coworker recently because I have so many stretch marks on my butt. And for what? Nothing stretched.
I know.
There's nothing there. I have flat back or whatever it's called, long back syndrome, where you literally don't have a butt.
Yes.
I have a literal pancake with stretch marks.
I know.
Who gave me that?
No, TBH, I'm I actually don't care about stretch marks at all. But all
Give
these stretch marks
stretched.
give me what stretched?
That's what I'm saying.
If I had a fat ass and stretch marks, I'd be like, let's go.
Right, but I have stretch marks and for what?
I know. That's the real tragedy here.
That's a tragedy. If you have stretch marks on your butt and you have a nice butt, frick you. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Stretch marks, I kind of like my stretch marks when I'm feeling bored because I just run my fingers on them and they feel kind of lumpy and I play with them.
Yeah, stretch marks are the most normal. I don't know. I just don't even think they look bad. I always just thought they kind of look cool.
Yeah, it's just not fair that nothing's stretched and I
know. really, it's not the stretch marks that I'm upset about. It's
the
my flat ass with the genetics that we somehow got.
Yeah. Another side note, a couple years ago, we were listening to a Queen song, and Kelly deadass pauses the song, says to all of our cousins and our friends that we're hanging out with, guys, this song is about me, flat bottom girls. And we're all like, what? Yeah, my song, Flat Bottom Girls.
Flat.
She really did not know that the song is Fat Bottom Girls. And I don't know what struck us more, the fact that she didn't know the words to the song, or the fact that we at first thought that she was trying to tell us that she was a fat bottom girl, because it was all a painful conversation.
Thinking about it now, it makes sense that the song was written about fat bottom girls, not flat bottom girls. But I did think I don't know how old I was on that trip.
You 23. Were probably 23.
For 23 years, I did think that the song was Flat Bottom Girls. And I was like, yeah, finally, they wrote one for us.
No, they didn't write one for us.
They didn't.
If you're into music and you could write one for us, like flat bottom stretch marks, we'll sing it.
Lil Wayne has a line about me. You're like a bitch with no ass. You ain't got shit. And I felt that.
Okay. I understand. Yeah.
I was like, damn, he really called me out.
Yeah. Yeah. So there are some songs about us.
Yeah.
I guess they're just, the whole song could be about us. Like the chorus, like Fat Bottom Girls.
Yeah. Remake it. Flat.
Flat bottom girls make the world go around.
Yeah. I'll live by that.
Thank you for being here for this.
Yes. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're with someone and you have to write on Reddit that they are manipulating you and gaslighting you and treating you terribly and ignoring you and calling you a joke and laughing at you, they're not the one for you. Break up, please.
It's time to walk on out that door.
Dump his ass. And I hope that if I am ever in a situation like this, my friends will slap me across the face, and I hope that I believe them.
Yeah. Like, shake me upside down.
Yeah. Because I know that it is very likely that any one of us could fall in love and be subject to manipulation. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just really hope that if it does happen to me, I can listen back to this episode and listen to my friends when they tell me to dump his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hope that it never happens to us or anyone we love or anyone else, period. Yeah. I hope we never have to read a news story like this on Reddit. Yeah. And I hope no one ever sends us a news story like this. It breaks my heart. And if you need me to personally speak to you, send us the story in a message.
True.
But I will reach out to you. It does not need to be read on the podcast. You need help, and we're here for you.
Yeah, so true.
1-800-GOT-KELEE. That's our number.
Right. 1-800-555-KELEE.
1-800-ASK-ERIN.
Oh, that's good.
That fits.
Ask Erin.
AskErin.com.
Yeah.
Don't go to that. I don't know what that's going to take you to.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast. Oh, also, can you subscribe to our podcast? That would really help us. I always forget to ask people to subscribe. So subscribe.
Whether you like us or not.
Yeah. Subscribe on YouTube. They're all subscribed. Yeah. You subscribe on all platforms. That would be awesome. And share it with your friends and rate it 5 stars. That would be so nice. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.